All right, so the next one here, U.S. aircraft carrier patrols the South China Sea. So a U.S. Navy aircraft carrier conducted joint patrols and exercises with the Philippine military in the South China Sea in the latest U.S. provocation in the region aimed at China. The USS Carl Vinson and its strike group, which includes a cruiser and two destroyers, participated in the operations on Wednesday and Thursday, along with 4 Philippine vessels, including former Coast Guard cutters. So they have some old U.S. Coast Guard cutters. Romeo Bronner Jr., who's the chief of staff of the Philippine Armed Forces, said, quote, "The maritime cooperative activity marks a significant leap in our alliance and interoperability with the United States. It also demonstrates our progress in defense capabilities and development as a world-class armed force," end quote. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin was asked about the joint drills and denounced them as a provocation. He said, quote, "We would like to stress that the U.S. and the Philippines' muscle-flexing, provocative military actions in the South China Sea are not conducive to managing the situation on the sea and handling maritime disputes," end quote. So the U.S. and the Philippines relaunched joint patrols in the South China Sea in November, marking the first time in 7 years that they did these joint patrols. They do joint military exercises, but this is different. They kind of cruise around the South China Sea together. And this one was a much bigger show of force. The one that they did in November was just one U.S., I believe, a littoral combat ship, which is a small vessel, and one U.S. surveillance aircraft. So this time they come with a full carrier strike group. And this comes, tensions are soaring in the South China Sea. China and the Philippines have overlapping claims, and Ferdinand Marcos Jr., Bang Bang, as they call him, he is pushing back. He's much more aggressively pushing back against China's claims, and he's emboldened by the U.S. The U.S. and the Philippines have been increasing their military alliance. The U.S. is expanding its military bases in the Philippines, and whenever these incidents happen pretty frequently between Chinese and Philippine boats, sometimes there's collisions around these disputed reefs. Whenever that happens, the U.S. comes out and says, they say the U.S.-Philippine Mutual Defense Treaty applies to attacks on Philippine vessels in the South China Sea. So that means the U.S. is saying they will intervene to, if this thing turns hot, the U.S. will directly intervene against China, a nuclear-armed power. So that's how involved the U.S. is in this maritime dispute in the South China Sea.